Hello and welcome to this video. Today we're going to talk about organizational culture. Take a little bit deeper dive than we've talked about earlier. So what is culture? Here we've got pictures of different aspects, different cultures. Business culture, there's ethnic culture, there's social culture, there's national culture, and another ethnic culture. My daughters used to do this one here, the Irish dance thing. They used to compete. It's crazy. All right. But what is culture? Culture is the cumulative experience of the people within the culture. It's those accepted norms, attitudes, behaviors, beliefs. It's how we will respond to a given stimuli. So when something happens, you anticipate the response of the organization will be something else. For example, if you were at a meeting and there were junior people and senior people all there, just intermingled, maybe an all-staff kind of meeting. And one of the junior people spoke up and said something that was contradictory to what the executive leadership had just said. Your culture defines how you would, in your gut, respond to that and how the organization will respond to that. In some organizations, the cultural norm, the attitudes, the belief around that junior person speaking up contradictory to the senior person would be that junior person would be looking for a new job. In some other cultures, the norm is, hey, that's great. We appreciate all input and value what you had to say. I will consider that. We will consider that. We'll take it into account when we're going forward. So culture is what you think is going to happen given a certain set of stimuli. In Toyota, there's something called the Undone Cord, and that's a good example of culture played out in physical things. The Undone Cord was a cord that ran through the shop, the assembly line, for the whole length of the assembly line, and if you pulled that cord, it would stop the line. It would completely stop production in that line, so that normally it would be pulled to fix something, right? If there's something gone wrong with the line, then you drop the tool or there's a defect that you see that you want to fix, you would pull the cord, stop the line, and fix it. Now, my question that I often ask and that I read in a book was how often, this question for you, how often do you think that cord is pulled? And typically when I give this talk, people would say, oh, once a month or, maybe 10 times a month. At the most 50 times a month, right? Because you stop the whole production line when you pull that cord. Actually, the system was designed to be able to pull that cord, and it was pulled thousands of times a day. Literally, throughout the entire shop, it was designed to be able that anyone at any point could pull the cord and stop the line. You're actually encouraged to stop the line. But that is a cultural norm, the attitude or belief that we have regarding that. In Toyota, where the Undone Cord was used and created, their belief and understanding was it's more important than anything is continuous improvement, Kaizen. And so if you found a spot where you could make improvements, you did that. You stopped and made an improvement. You stopped and you fixed it. Defects are unacceptable. Where in other cultures, the unacceptable thing is to slow down production. So see how there's a difference in culture there. All organizations and all groups of people have a culture, period. They do. Most organizations, most groups of people have an accidental or unplanned culture. It just kind of happens. Intentional culture takes effort, planning, thinking. It takes setting up specific exercises, setting up specific events, and changing the way things are to the way we want them to be. So this is the organizational culture reinforcement cycle, I call it. Let's just start here at thoughts. Say you're thinking about something, and from that thought you form a belief based on your memory, thoughts, beliefs. Based on those beliefs, you will take action. If you believe that the floor is safe, you'll step on it. right? This is how we do anything. We're able to do anything, is our beliefs drive our actions. We then get results based on those actions, which either reinforce or contradict our memory, those results that have stored up there in the past. If it reinforces those memories, then great. It just says, see, I was right. If it contradicts those memories, then it goes in a bucket in your brain of exceptions. And typically we'll go, nah, well, that was an anomaly, or there were extenuating circumstances, or there was something else going on. That was just a one-time fluke, right? Until it happens again and again and again. And eventually, you can think of this as a teeter-totter, right? You've got all this memory on one side that drives your thoughts and beliefs. And on the other side are the anomalies. When eventually there's enough anomalies that consistently contradict the memories, the anomalies take over. So that's how these things kind of morph accidentally over time. Things change because of continued change, right? Continued different results give you different beliefs, right? Different memories, different thoughts, then different beliefs. And so in an organization, this might be how the organizational culture changes over time, because getting an infusion of people with a different cultural mindset might change the way those people respond. And so you are seeing situations with different results than what you expected based on your previous culture. Does that make sense? So you've worked at a place for 5 years, and suddenly there's 25 or 30% of the people are new, massive growth, something like that. Those 25 or 30% of the people came from an organization that had a slightly different culture than yours. Therefore, when things happened, particular responses, right, particular actions they took had different results. Just like we talked about that meeting, right? If your culture in your organization was, we never have laptops out during meetings, we never have phones out during meetings, and we are all present. But then suddenly you had a bunch of people from a different culture who had theirs out, and it just it got glossed over. Nobody spoke up because there were so many people doing it over and over again. Eventually you've got enough results stored up in your memory that you form new thoughts and new beliefs. So that's how it happens accidentally. Can we form this intentionally? Yes, of course. Otherwise there wouldn't be this big blank space over here. But what we need to do to intentionally change it, we can't magically get new results. That just doesn't happen. We're getting the results we get. We can't necessarily change our memory. The things are there. What we can do, because we are sentient people, because we think and have motives and are able to think freely, we are able to change our thoughts. We're able to think something differently. And if you change the way you think, you'll end up changing your beliefs. You'll take new thoughts, make them new beliefs. You will believe something new, and then you will take action based on that. Sometimes people will say that, oh, you need to act your way into doing it. This is sort of saying the same thing, except if you don't believe something, you will never act on it. If you don't believe you can be successful starting your own business, you will never act on it. Even if you say, well, I'm just going to act like I can, you have to believe it first, or you'll never take the action. So you need to start thinking and training your mind to think differently. Then you will form beliefs about it that will make you take action based on that belief. You'll get a new result. This will go into your memory banks. That will drive your new thoughts, beliefs, and actions, results, memory, thoughts, beliefs, actions. You can think of it actually as trails through the forest. If you were walking, I lived in a forest when I was a kid, and we had these trails in the backwoods. And when you walked on them, they stayed a steady path. They were trodden, and the bushes were pushed back from it. The weeds didn't grow on the trail because people walked on it. If you decided to bushwhack, so that's this over here, you're walking it, you're moving it, you're keeping it, that's the trail, that's the trail, that's the trail. If you decided you wanted to go somewhere new, you would have to start down a new trail. And going down that new trail would be difficult. And you'd have to bushwhack and take a machete with you and chop through the bushes, and it wouldn't be clear and clean right away. And it would be easy when you came back to this position right here to just walk the other path because it's clear, it's clean, it's consistent, we know it. But if you're really going to change behavior, if you're really going to change culture, you need to intentionally shift direction and go this way, right? Even though the bolus of our memories say, that's not the way it works, I know something different's going to happen, I believe something different's going to happen because of my memories, you need to change those thoughts. Those will drive new beliefs, will take new action. And eventually, when you walk this path enough, it will become the new trail. The old path will begin to get overgrown and won't be as attractive anymore to your mind. So that is how you develop organizational culture, both intentionally and unintentionally. I'm going to talk really quickly about something called the growth mindset versus the fixed mindset. This is an important aspect to believing you can change anything. When I was a kid, I was told that IQ is fixed. You have a certain IQ, and that's what you will always be. You can't improve it, you can't change it. But since then, we have learned that that's actually not true. There's been a lot of studies about neuroplasticity and learning, and when I was a kid, they thought well, at least I was told that all the brain cells you have are the brain cells you've got. You're never getting any new ones, and now they know that you're making new brain cells all the time. So this growth mindset versus fixed mindset is a branch of that understanding, or grows out of that understanding that we are able to grow. So a fixed mindset says this on the left-hand side, that skills are something you're born with. You're fixed. You either are musical or you're not. You're artistic or you're not, right? People believe that challenges are something, either they're something to avoid or they are something to be embraced and learned from, right? Effort is unnecessary, right? Something you do when you're not good enough is you put out more effort, right? Work really hard. Well, that's when you're not good enough. Feedback. When you get feedback and you're in a fixed mindset, because you believe that skills are something you're born with and they're fixed, feedback makes you defensive and you take it personally. And when you have failures or setbacks, they call them here, you blame others, you get discouraged because you're fixed, right? You're born with certain skills, and so setbacks are things that you should avoid and not talk about. You should blame other people for them because you can't have responsibility for it. A growth mindset takes those same things and kind of flips them on their head, right? In a growth mindset, skills come from hard work. Skills are something that you can learn, you can always improve, you can always get better. They're not fixed. Challenges are things that you should embrace because that's how we grow. They're an opportunity to grow. People who believe in the growth mindset are more persistent because they have a belief that things can change. Things can get better, right? Where you see the fixed mindset person tends to give up more easily because challenges, well, it's a challenge, so I must not be able to do it. I don't have the brains to do that. I'm not smart enough. I'm not good enough. Effort is essential. It's how you get better. It's the path to mastery by this. And feedback is something that you learn from. It helps you grow, helps you identify those areas that you can improve and get better. So you crave feedback, actually. And setbacks it's just as a wake-up call to work harder next time. I would maybe work smarter. And I would say they're an opportunity for learning. They're a time where you can learn what that failure was, so you can do better next time, so you can do different next time and maybe learn something new. Making the same mistake over and over again, that might be failure, right? But you want to learn and improve from that. So that's the idea of the fixed versus growth mindset. And this is important when you're thinking about organizational culture, because if you believe in a fixed mindset, you won't believe the whole last slide that I talked about where you can change the organizational culture. But like I said, neuroscience today proves that the growth mindset is the way things really are configured and set up in our brains. So let's get going that direction. All right, thank you for watching this one, and we'll see you in the next video.